Welcome back. Today we join a solitary hunter as he scales an ancient canopy giant to harvest a wild hive. Daylight dictates the pace. The ascent begins with temporary anchors. Driving metal spikes into the dense outer bark creates essential footholds where natural branches fail. Each strike must find solid perches. The rough lichen offers initial grip, but vertical progress demands engineered support. A single loose nail compromises the entire climb. Scale becomes apparent quickly. Carrying a cluster of spikes allows for a continuous rhythm, minimizing wasted movement. The bark's deep fissures dictate where the steel goes. Driving them at a slight downward angle ensures gravity works with the climber, locking the metal against outward pull. Higher up, the surface profile shifts. Raised burls and thickened bark layers offer natural platforms, reducing the depth the spikes need to travel. At this altitude, wind shear becomes a factor. The body must stay pinned close to the trunk to maintain a low center of gravity. Pauses are brief, just enough to let lactic acid clear from the forearms before the next strike. The rhythm of the hammer becomes the only constant. Focus narrows to the next 3 feet. Distance from the ground strips away any margin for error. A dropped tool here means the end of the harvest. The isolation is absolute. Securing the final approach requires a denser cluster of footholds. This high canopy environment is where the target resides, demanding stable footing for the extraction phase. The wood here is younger and slightly softer, allowing the steel to bite faster. Every anchor point serves a dual purpose now: climbing access and a secure workstation. Balance is everything. The defensive perimeter is immediately triggered. Wild bees respond to vibration and carbon dioxide, turning the air into a chaotic blur of wings. Moving deliberately is the only defense. Sudden jerks or swatting only signal aggression to the guard bees, accelerating their defensive pheromone release. The thick protective mesh keeps the stingers from breaking skin, but the sheer kinetic energy of thousands of impacts creates immense psychological pressure. Panic is the real danger. The hunter must block out the noise and rely entirely on tactile feedback to guide the hammer. Reaching the target zone shifts the protocol from climbing to surgery. The dark mass of the hive clings firmly to the underside of a major lateral branch. Positioning underneath it shields the structure from direct rain but complicates the approach. A large, specialized blade is unsheathed. This isn't just about cutting, it's about minimizing structural shock to the main colony. The swarm reaches maximum density, coating every available surface. Through the blur, the architecture of the comb finally becomes visible. Preparation dictates the success of the harvest. Small obstructions and loose bark around the attachment point must be cleared first. Any debris left behind could contaminate the honey or snag the extraction bag. A thin metal scraper removes the immediate obstacles, creating a clean working perimeter. Balancing on the curved limb requires constant core engagement. The bees cover the tools completely, forcing the hunter to work almost entirely by feel. Establishing a clean line of sight to the attachment seam is critical. The final transition requires shifting from a standing stance to a seated brace. Anchoring the legs across the lateral branch frees both hands for the delicate work ahead. Leverage is crucial when handling heavy sections of wax and fluid. The posture must be locked in before the first cut is made. The blade slides flush against the cambium layer. Slicing cleanly preserves the integrity of the remaining comb, allowing the colony to rebuild quickly. The sheer weight of the honey-filled cells is substantial. Detaching the segment requires a smooth, continuous draw of the knife to prevent the soft wax from tearing prematurely. The gold reveals itself. Exposure to the open air invites immediate robbery from neighboring insects. The harvested section is quickly sealed inside a heavy-duty sack, locking in the scent. Once secured, creating distance from the exposed cut site reduces the immediate swarming pressure. The primary payload is safe. For larger, more fragile sections, the containment strategy changes. A clear membrane is manipulated directly over the comb before it is fully severed. This catches any dripping nectar and prevents the brittle wax from shattering during the transfer. Additional anchor points are hammered directly into the branch to bear the suspended weight of the harvest gear. Gravity constantly threatens to pull the heavy, fluid-filled bags into the abyss. Securing the rigging takes priority over the harvest itself. Deep within the structure, the oldest wax is tough and fibrous. Scraping away the hardened outer capping exposes the rich stores underneath. As the swarm's agitation peaks, a simple countermeasure is deployed. A targeted stream of water mimics sudden rainfall. This environmental trigger instinctively forces the bees to cluster tightly and seek shelter, momentarily dulling their aggressive flight patterns. It buys just enough time to push the blade deeper into the core attachment points. The margin for error is non-existent. With the main tension relieved, smaller fragments are extracted by hand. Leaving broken wax behind invites mold and pests that could devastate the recovering hive. A thorough scraping of the bark ensures a clean foundation for the colony's inevitable return. It is a calculated harvest, leaving enough resources for the system to survive. The final severing cut requires immense wrist strength to guide the blade through the dense comb block. As the massive golden lobe pulls away, the attachment footprint is laid bare. The dark, stained wood shows generations of repeated construction on this exact same branch. It is a prime piece of real estate, sheltered and perfectly angled. The sheer mass of the detached segment threatens to imbalance the worker. Precision handling is non-negotiable. Suspended in mid-air, the geometric perfection of the hexagonal cells is fully exposed. Transferring the heavy slab into the transparent casing requires delicate handling. A single slip would send the entire yield plummeting to the forest floor. Pinning the bag to the trunk with a nail creates a temporary load-bearing staging area. It frees the hands to manage the remaining fragments. Trimming the excess wax ensures the payload packs efficiently for the long climb down. The thick gloves are now slick with honey and propolis, making every grip a calculated risk. The weight is finally consolidated. Distributing the mass evenly across the tether points prevents the plastic from tearing under tension. The hardest part is over, but gravity is unforgiving. A moment of pause allows the adrenaline to settle. The downward journey demands a different kind of focus. Rappelling with a heavy, unstable load alters the center of gravity drastically. The temporary footholds that guided the way up now serve as vital anchor points for the descent line. Friction is carefully managed to control the drop speed. What was a dangerous vertical puzzle is now a straightforward path home. In the end, the forest yields its resources only to those who respect its architecture. The colony will rebuild, the sapwood will heal over the steel, and the cycle continues. A massive risk, met with quiet competence, concludes.